Functioning. Yeah, restream's got stuff coming through. There we are. We've got stuff through. What's that drink you're partaking of there, Skazz?
It's iron brew now with added sugar.
Now with added sugar.
Yeah, so it's, you know how they kind of went balls deep on the we're not going to put sugar in iron brew anymore. It's just going to be aspartame.
You mean they ruined it?
Yeah. Well, I guess their sales must have taken a bit of a hit, and people were like, "Why have you released sugar-free iron brew when you already have sugar-free iron brew that no one buys?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, that's yeah, fair point there." And then they released Iron Brew Classic, which had buckets of sugar in it, and people bought that, a lot of that. It was like £1 plus a bottle, and people were buying it by the crate. And then they must have gone, that's sugar stuff. People seem to like that. I think maybe just spitballing here, lads. Maybe we should put some of that sugar in our big drink. Iron brew. Should put the regular one. We should put some sugar in there. That might work. People might buy it. Crazy idea, right?
Yeah.
And then guess what? People start buying it.
I was reading a couple of websites bound diabetes websites for various reasons. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading about sweeteners, and they were saying that in their research, they find people who have sweetened drinks rather than sugary drinks tend to make no sort of difference. Switching to one from sugar to sweetener makes absolutely zero difference.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
What they think happens is people crave the sugar, so they just go get it elsewhere.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. So they just eat something else instead. So switching from a sugar to a non-sugar version makes sod all difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a, I mean, it makes sense when you think of it that way, but.
Well, yeah, because you drink a sugary drink for a pick-me-up. The taste is an added benefit, but so it's like when Lucasade, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to cut back on this because there's way too many calories in it. Yeah, that's why people drank it. For an energy boost. That's like when you look at fucking Red Bull. Oh yeah, we've got caffeine-free and sugar-free Red Bull. Why? No one's drinking that stuff for the taste.
It's like alcohol-free beer.
What's the point? Caffeine-free coffee. No fucking thank you. Dirt water at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, Christ. I'll just go into my garden and get a spoonful of mud and put it in my cup. Marketing. Yeah. Marketing, mate. But yeah, this still has, don't get me wrong, I think this still has aspartame in it. It's still got that aftertaste, but it's not as vile as it was before.
No.
So I'm like, oh, sugar, I missed you.
So did you manage to stretch your Iron Brew supply until the new version came out? I say the new version.
No, I've still got 15 bottles of the actual regular stuff in the garage.
Yeah, it's aging now like a fine wine.
It is. So in 2050, if I'm still alive, I can celebrate the end of the world by cracking open a bottle of proper iron brew.
2050. I think you're bright. You've got a good sense that we're going to make it to 2050.
Well, maybe 2030. I'll crack a bottle open on 2030.
I'm not convinced we'll make it to the end of next year at this rate.
Oh, mate, don't say that.
I'm surprised you got. I mean, to be fair, I was about to say I'm surprised you got to the end of 2021, but we've still got 3 weeks left.
Oh, you have a fair point. Fair point. I'm starting to panic myself. I'm like, oh god, I'm in karma debt until 2024. Don't start this, mate. Christ.
Yeah. Good day, my name's Sophie Crab.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 180 of the Rand Nerds podcast, our penultimate podcast of the year.
Yay.
Podcast. So, podcast, yes. So, we hope you're all feeling very festive. I know Skazz is.
Fucking Christmas.
Bloody Christmas.
Now with added sugar.
Now with added sugar, yeah. Christmas,
We've got a tree. What more do you want from me?
Is it a Christmas tree, though?
It's a real one.
It's a real one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a real tree that falls apart in your house.
Fantastic.
It goes brown and shit.
All I want to say is good on you, mate, for having a real tree. What did you get?
It's just green. Brown.
Right. Is it prickly, just like really prickly pines, or is it more like the sort of fatter pines?
Mate, I haven't gone over to it and fucking hugged it. I've just bought it from a shop and gone. Did you
carry? Did you bring it in?
Mate, I don't feel the damn thing. Just like drag it into my house, stick it there, tree.
You have to touch it at some point.
No, I don't. Decoration is for the children.
Yes, but you have to. At some point, your arms will brush against the needles.
Nah, mate, nah. When I had hold of
one of those like CDC sort of high hazmat suits that like
cold store jacket, mate. Cold store jacket. You feel nothing through that.
I think you're one of those old school deep sea diving suits. Is what you're working with.
Yeah, my massive bell fucking helmet and. Yes, that was it.
I don't get needle rash. That's a bit extreme, Skazz. Just keep pumping the air.
That's what I wear when I'm going outside so I can deal with the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So what the fuck is that? Oh, I can't be dealing with that shitty fucking... That paper suit you guys wear. That's bollocks. I'm going hardcore. It's not real.
Oh, I was hoping to identify which type of tree you had, but I can't because you weren't...
It's green.
Yeah, it's probably... Is it okay, so you ain't just... Is it sort of like quite fat at the bottom, or is it like sort of quite tapered?
Pointy.
Pointy, so it's quite thin. For its height, it's quite thin.
It's about fucking 2 foot nothing. I don't know, it's a tree. It lives in my house, or it will live in my house for some time, and then it'll not be a tree anymore. It'll turn into a twig, and then...
So how tall is it?
I don't know, like 2-3 feet, something like that.
How much did you spend on it?
I don't fucking know.
You bought it. You said
I don't pay attention to this stuff. It's Christmas. I don't give a damn about that.
Is it a cut one or is it a potted one?
This is a cut. Cut. Yeah, so I can
tell
you that.
I'm going to guess you've got a Norway.
Marvellous.
I'm going to guess. But without seeing it, I can't be 100% sure, but I'm going to guess it's a Norway.
See, I'm aiding in the destruction of the planet by buying a real tree.
Nothing wrong. No, it's like they're regrown.
That'll be regrown.
I'm going to the tree farm tomorrow to pick my tree.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking burn it too.
Hey, you know they explode when you burn them?
Oh, brilliant! I'm in!
If you chuck them onto if you chuck it, you have to keep them keep plenty of water, so it's like full of lots of water in it. So it keeps up, it doesn't destroy the sap up. But yeah, if you have a fire, chuck the tree on the fire, they explode.
Mate, that's a stick grenade.
Mm.
I love it. I'm in.
Yeah. You know, that's the one thing that's now made him feel happy about having a real Christmas tree.
I love Christmas now. I can blow shit up. Who'd have known Christmas was so fucking dangerous? I love it.
I've got explosive in my house now. Yay.
Yay. Don't tell my wife. She'll take it away from me.
Oh, dear.
Ram, what do you mean Christmas trees are explosive? Now you've got him all excited.
He's sitting there with his lighter.
Yeah, sat there going, ooh. The kids are getting a bit scared.
Am I going to set you on fire? You just wave it in its face, don't you?
Is it today? Is it today? Come on, you bastard. Try me.
Now, we all know you have to wait till Christmas Day itself. It's the traditional
I have to wait till Christmas Day itself to burn my house down. Fantastic. Yes. I'm in.
Yeah.
The greatest gift of all, disappointment.
You sit around there having your lovely turkey and your lovely pork from your special hamper.
Magic hamper.
The magic hamper, the magic meat man hamper.
See, again, so I'm eating animals and killing trees. I am the devil.
To be fair, vegetarians kill trees as well.
Bloody vegetarians. Can't trust them.
I mean, those poor innocent trees. I mean, at least they can't run away. They can't escape. They're just stuck there. They see their doom coming towards them. They can't do anything about it. Those bastards.
Complete bastards.
Absolute bastards eating that poor defensive tree or broccoli or cauliflower.
Kale.
Utter
Bastards. You're robbing the rabbits of their food, you pricks. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
what about the slugs? Think of the slugs. Yeah, bastards.
Won't somebody please think of the slugs?
See. Think of the nature that you're robbing, you bastards.
Yeah. The best thing you can do if you're vegetarian is to kill yourself.
Yep, that's about right. Reduce your carbon footprint. Ram, you can't tell people to do that.
Honestly, it solves so many problems.
See, I've been saying that to people for ages, and people think I'm clinically insane, but, I've done the maths. It'll help. You know what? So many things will be sustainable if we just,
Didn't exist.
Well, yeah, if we knock about, I don't know. Well, my maths is a bit flaky here, but I think the world was at the tipping point around 1985.
When you were born?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I've always said the world went downhill from the year I was born, right?
And I wonder why.
The maths proves it. What was that book I was reading? It basically said that to be able to do everything organically, naturally, sustainable, to keep everything sustainable, so the sustainable population of the planet would be around 4.5 billion. And that's pushing it.
I would say it sounds a bit high to me. I would just put it about 2 to 3 billion.
Sure, right? But that was the population of the planet when we were born. So if we just kind of, just
once again, Thanos was right. There's a whole subreddit on Reddit. There's a whole subreddit on Reddit called Thanos was right.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah,
I might actually have to read it.
Yeah, I read it. I'm afraid.
Yeah, so I had.
There is a Rand Nerds Reddit on Reddit.
See, I had a Reddit. I had a Reddit account, and then I got unreddited, and then no Reddit for me.
There you go. All right, Skazz, what games have you been playing?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I forget we're a podcast that talks about. Well, we're a politically correct podcast. We're a political gaming. We're an opinion podcast. Let's be fair. Games I've been playing, I forget. No, I don't. I just finished one today. Have you heard of the clusterfuck nightmare game that is Marvel's Avengers?
I've heard of the game, but only in passing. I did know that there's a clusterfuck around it.
Right, so it's a PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation.
It's not the one that was made by the people who made City of Heroes, is it?
I don't know. You might have to look that one up. I have no bloody idea.
You talk about. I'll look that up.
But basically, it is. If anyone has heard me talk about Destiny, it's Destiny, but with Marvel characters in it. And I don't actually know why people don't like it. I don't understand. Maybe the game ran like ass when it first came out, but on next-gen consoles, current-gen consoles, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, gameplay's fine. On my, I wouldn't say gutless laptop, but on my gaming laptop, it plays a reasonable 60 with occasional dips, but it's playable. It's Destiny with Marvel characters. I didn't understand. I can't understand what the complaints were. I don't know if maybe there was like a DLC issue with it, or if it was like uber buggy or whatever. But for me, I think the game came out in like 2019. So, but playing it in 2021, the game's fucking fine. So the story is there's a main campaign and then there's a bunch of sub campaigns. But the main single player campaign that takes place in the Destiny style overworld map thing is you play as all of the Avengers, which makes this kind of awkward to chatter about. But you start off as Kamala Khan. She is a super hardcore Avengers and comic book fan. And she has been invited to Avengers Day, which is a big event being held at one of the Avengers headquarters, where the Avengers are going to unveil an amazing new renewable clean energy. And it's experimental, but they're going to push it out there. So look, this is what we're doing. This is what it can do. Fucking fantastic. Now, Kamala there's a bunch of people going to A-Day, Avengers Day. Everyone can go, blah, blah, blah. But she has VIP stuff because she's written a fan fiction, a comic book. And there's a bunch of other kids that are going. And the idea is that the VIPs, the kids who have been chosen, can go and, they can go on the big balcony and get the best view. And, they get to mingle with the Avengers and all that kind of stuff. And the game opens up. Kamala and her dad get to A-Day. They're walking around. Kamala starts doing all little events and stuff, shooting galleries, playing arcade games, chatting to other kids about comics. And she bumps into the other Avengers. She bumps into Thor, who kind of pops into like the Tony Stark booth and is like, oh yeah, Tony Stark's just got a bunch of toys. He's not a real hero like me. I'm a god. Kamala exchanges with Thor. He finds her interesting. All of the Avengers have read all the fan fictions, by the way. That's how they were chosen. They were chosen by the Avengers themselves. Thor recognizes Kamala and her work. She then bumps into Captain America and Black Widow, and Captain America recognizes her. Says that he quite enjoyed the comic. She sees Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk, but they don't get to talk. She overhears that him and his two assistants are kind of worried about the reactor. That the numbers aren't quite right. It seems a bit flaky. But just run over the numbers again just to be sure. And then she decides, we're going to go up and see the big announcement. As the announcement starts, Iron Man turns up, starts showing off. Yeah, Terrigen's going to be amazing. Bumps into Kamala. They have a little bit of a chat as he launches off in his suit. And as Iron Man hits the stage, a bomb goes off on the Golden Gate Bridge. So just across from where A-Day's happening. And the Avengers fucking launch off to go and find out what the hell's happening. And all hell breaks loose. Turns out, Terrigen is pretty unfucking stable. And the super clean renewable energy they've made, the reactor explodes and loads of people get fucked up. And they call it, it's a catastrophe. All of San Francisco becomes quarantined and they call it A-Day. So some people get out of it fine. People die. And other people, they gain superpowers. They basically become mutants. And Kamala is one of them. The Avengers get broken apart because of the government has like a big old hearing saying like, what the fuck was that? You had this shit in public view. It wasn't proven to be safe yet. What were you thinking? This is all your fault. I mean, it's not like, oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty fair, to be fair. That's pretty fair.
Yeah, sure. And basically, they go to the guilt master, Dr. Banner, or Bruce fucking Banner. He's guilty about absolutely everything. Definitely a Catholic. They say to him, do you think the Avengers are fucking dangerous? And he goes, yeah. And from that alone, that and San Francisco turning into a wasteland, they break up the Avengers. They take all of Tony Stark's equipment. They break up S.H.I.E.L.D., which is I don't really want to go too much into comic book lore here, but they break up all of the kind of the good guy things. And they give it all to this new company founded by Banner's associates, his assistants.
I've just googled, is Bruce Banner a Catholic? And the answer is yes.
There you go. Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. They give all of Stark's technology, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s technology, all the Avengers technology, it all goes to AIM, which is Banner's assistants. And these people are claiming that they are gathering up Inhumans, the people who got poisoned by Terrigen and have mutated and gained superpowers. They're claiming they're going to cure them. So they're basically grabbing them off the streets. A bit like a dictator would round up people he doesn't really want. And they're locking them up and experimenting on them. But that's not the image that they're putting out there. Don't worry, we're curing them, we're treating them for this disease. But no one with the mutations is sick. They don't feel sick. They're not dying of it. But AIM is telling people they are. And Kamala is in hiding of sorts. Like, her father has asked her to hide her powers. She's become a polymorph. I mean, she's all stretchy and stuff.
Oh, really? That's not what I would have thought about polymorph, but...
Sure, whatever. I think that's what she called it, but whatever. She's all fucking stretchy, big hands, can increase in size and all that kind of stuff. And her father has asked her to basically hide it because he doesn't want her to be taken away. People are treating the Inhumans, as they call them, as like plague victims. If you touch an Inhuman, you're going to get sick and you're going to get taken away. So they're treated like second-class citizens. Kamala is desperately... She's still clinging on to the hope that the Avengers are going to do something.
I suppose this game was released in 2020, is it really?
Well, yes, and that's fact. Well, no, it wasn't 2020, was it? It was 2019.
14th of August 2020. Going to this.
On PC, wasn't it?
Initial release date, 14th of August 2020.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought it was 2019, but okay. Well, fantastic then. There you go. It fits. But yeah, they people are being really shitty to the Inhumans.
Marvel thing in general.
Yeah, generally, because it's normally mutants, isn't it? They all... Pretty much everyone with powers is a mutant.
Is X-Men Marvel? Or is that
yes,
DC?
That's Marvel. The X-Men are mutants. Spider-Man's a mutant. Deadpool's a mutant. Obviously, all the Inhumans are now mutants. Bruce Banner is technically a mutant. Who else? Captain America, the super soldier serum technically makes him a mutant.
Aren't most superheroes?
Yeah, they're mutants.
If they're not, unless they're aliens, they're all...
Yeah, pretty much.
So technology, they're mutants.
She's looking for the resistance. She's trying to find... Kamala is trying to find people who will stand up for the Inhumans. She swears the Avengers are still out there. And she, at random, finds a link to a Stark server. Tony Stark server, right? One of Iron Man's servers. And the idea is, like, can you guess the password? And she's got 3 attempts to guess the password, to get in and copy the data and fucking leg it. And she gets in, starts to copy the data, and the AIM catch her. Because AIM they own all of Stark's technology, so they know she's got in, they know where she is, and she has to fucking run. And from that point on, she's on the run from AIM. She tries to find out she goes to where the last known resistance cell is supposed to be, and she finds the Hulk, Bruce Banner. And from that point on, basically, she tries to reassemble the Avengers, fight AIM, save the world. The game plays very much like Destiny. So you're given a big open world map, or like a world map, and you select from the world map missions. and you'll have like cutscenes and little bits that you have to play through, but eventually you will end up back on a world map where you have to choose where in the world you get dropped off. The world map will be broken up into, like, say, 4 main places. And if you, like, I don't know, New York City, Utah, which is where the rebellion's supposed to be, the Badlands or something, and you click on one of the main places, and then that will separate into, say, 4 or 5 other missions. And depending on where you pick, they all take place on the same map, but you'll be dropped off into a different section of the map to do that particular mission, just like in Destiny. You can have support characters like other Avengers, so you can choose to play as one of the Avengers, or you can have a group of them as supports. You can play multiplayer with your friends if you want, which is kind of neat. Even I think even in the single player campaign, there's an option to have regular people just come in and play with you, or you can have the computer do it, and it's neat. Instead of running around shooting, you're fucking, rocking around as Thor, bashing people with a hammer, or, flying around as Iron Man, or playing as Kamala, just, jumping, fucking stretching around, punching people. It's neat. Mechanically, it's a tricky one to explain, because you'd have to then explain every single character's superheroes, but mechanically, most of them play somewhat the same. You've got a ranged attack, a light attack, a heavy attack, sprints, jumps, blocks, and depending on each character, like how each character works, they may do different things. Black Widow, she shoots things. She's got guns and grappling hooks. So her range is a set of pistols, whereas Kamala's is stretchy fists. Incredible Hulk just fucking punches things really hard. Iron Man flies around. But control-wise, they all do pretty much the same thing. Like, the jump is going to be the same between, the light attack is going to be the same. Ranged attack is going to be the same. One of them might have more range than the other. And then as you level up, because your characters have levels, you unlock stat points that you can put into various trees to increase or unlock new moves, increase power of moves, or unlock new ones. You pick up gear, just like in Destiny, that you can then equip to your characters, dismantle it to make new gear, whatever. It's a fucking awkward one to explain for folks who haven't played Destiny, but if you have played Destiny, it's Destiny. Destiny and what is that fucking game? The Tom Clancy ones that have come up recently, like that are in New York and that, where you drop down into
Division.
Yeah, I think they play a bit like Division 2. It's basically an MMO shooter of sorts, but with superheroes. Destiny with Marvel characters, and it's actually, the story is really I don't want to go any more into it, because the story, I think, is absolutely brilliant. A fangirl she fangirls out all the time. She loves superheroes. She has unshakable faith in superheroes. She gets to meet her heroes and become an Avenger. She gets to hang out with Tony Stark. She gets to hang out with Black Widow. She gets to save Captain America and befriend Thor and all stuff that she could never have dreamed would happen had she have not been caught in the A-Day explosions, trying to prove to the world that these Inhumans, they're not dangerous, they're not sick. There's nothing wrong with having powers. There's nothing wrong with being different. And that's kind of what Marvel has been pushing for years. Just because we're different doesn't make us bad. And that's Marvel's group, like, sexuality, racism, none of that stuff matters because, we treat everyone differently and we probably shouldn't. They just use powers as a focal point. But
Yeah,
it's
that was the whole story behind the X-Men, wasn't it? It was all about. Although Marvel did lose a little bit when there was some court battle where they basically it was under attacks as it always is, and they actually had to claim that their people got taxed differently because they were they weren't humans in their comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what all the comics books are about. Like we're all basically the same underneath, and they've got superpowers. They actually went to court to say, "Oh no, they are actually different, so we don't get taxed the same way."
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll try and track that down.
Sure, but it's weird. I know I'm talking about it like I'm talking about it now. I've finished the main campaign, but it is a hard one to explain because it isn't it plays like Destiny mechanically. The top down maps, gathering gear, disassembling gear, going to NPCs to buy more gear, having submissions on the map and all that kind of stuff. Once you get into a mission, there could be other missions for you to do. But then, by the same token, I'm not rocking around with guns and stuff like that. So, if I call it Marvel Destiny, you're just going to have to take the fucking story's fantastic though, and you can get the game for between £10 and £15 now. I think for anyone that complains about that game, for £10 or £15, you could easily get £10 or £15 enjoyment out of it. It looks fantastic too. I think it might actually be that the complaints were almost like PlayStation 4 players and Xbox One players, kind of like with Cyberpunk. It's a game that really should be played on next gen hardware, or as now current gen hardware, or PC, to really get the best out of it, to get 60 frames a second, to get the good visuals, because when things start getting hardcore in that game, like you could have 10, 15, 20 enemies on screen at once, all special effects going off, big explosions and superpowers, lasers going off everywhere. I can imagine lower end hardware would chug hard on that. But I thought it was a really fun game, and I think it'd actually be pretty solid even for someone that isn't a Marvel fan, that isn't an Avengers fan. Because the game does a pretty good job of explaining who each of the superheroes are. I thought it was neat. I really fucking enjoyed it. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. An Incredible Hulk is badass. Just saying.
So, what we were discussing earlier about the being born somewhat out of City of Heroes, I was sort of correct, but not really correct.
Okay.
So, I was getting mixed up with the lead developer on City of Hero, or who designed the lead designer of City of Heroes. He's also now currently developer on DC Ultimate Universe Online.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, but he's now started a project to make a Marvel MMORPG.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, which was announced 7 days ago. So I'm correct, but if you'd asked me last week, I would have been doing wrong.
Sure. Okay.
So,
developed by Crystal Dynamics, published by Square Enix. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And I've just looked at that lawsuit, and it's to do with toys.
Oh, right, okay.
Toys that are based on humans are classed as dolls, so they have a 12% import tax, whereas ones that are non-human get a 6.8% import tax.
Oh, right, okay.
And it looks like it wasn't Marvel, it was one of the people who were manufacturing the toys who did the arguing.
Ah, okay.
And they managed to get the ruling passed. They got to bring their stuff with a lower import tariff.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So
that was 2020,
awesome.
September 4th, 2020.
There you go.
My gods. And released March 18th, 2021 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S.
There you go.
Excellent. With a free upgrade if you'd already bought it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Oh, very nice.
There you go. They seem to do a lot now, don't they? A lot of the games have got free upgrades.
Yeah, unless you're talking like an Activision game, at which point I think they actually they're a bit.
Yeah.
Here we go. I
That's
think
Activision.
so. Controversies in September 2021, Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix introduced XP boosts, which can only be purchased through real world money. Whoop-de-doo, because it's not exactly fucking hard to. It's not exactly hard to level up in the game. What's this? The move drew ear from both the community and gaming journalists, as the company previously promised that the game would only feature microtransactions for cosmetics and customization items only in 2019, and introduced an update in March 2021 to deliberately change the progression system, which makes leveling up a longer process. I didn't find it to be particularly difficult, to be honest, but hey ho, that is me. Saw a large player drop due to the game's problems such as bugs, repetitive gameplay, and lack of content. I thought it was fine, to be completely honest. Oh, there you go.
But is it? I mean, did you, Kelsey? You played it? Did you play it with more stuff out, or like after stuff had been added in?
Well, no, I've only played the single player content, so I imagine that was all there when the game launched. There are three more. There are three more things on there, three more like campaign modes, but I haven't played those yet. And to be honest with you, I was only really interested in the single player campaign. I thought it was fine.
Well, yeah, and actually that's the end. That's all it comes down to is. It doesn't matter what people think. If you enjoy it,
exactly. I mean, I don't think every game needs to be a 40-hour epic.
No.
You know, I got 15 hours out of it. That was great.
It's better to have an enjoyable 15 hours than a 40-hour game with lots of sloggy bits in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I've been playing Teardown.
Oh, is that the physics-based blow everything
Voxel
up
game?
Yeah.
Yep. It is really fun.
How does that run on your machine? Because I've heard even a 3080 gets brought to its knees.
I've heard this, and yes, I can make it chug on my machine, but I'll get to this. So Teardown. So it's a voxel-based game. And for those of you who don't know what voxels are, voxel basically a pixel in 3D. So more pixel is you have an X and a Y, left and right. Voxel as the third dimension, it's 3D.
Yeah.
The easiest way to explain it is Minecraft. Minecraft is all about voxels. Every block you destroy is a voxel. So, and voxels are one of those things that sound really cool, but unless it's a Minecraft clone, no one's really done much with it. There aren't that many games that have made great use of them.
I thought 3D Dot Game Heroes is voxel, and that was pretty good. I thought.
I've not heard of that one.
As PlayStation 3 exclusive.
Oh, right. I know 7 Days to Die makes use of voxels. In the fact that you can build stuff in its Destructible tray, and that works quite well. But Teardown is probably the first game which I feel has done something different with it. Basically using the advantage of it. So, first thing is, Teardown's voxels are a lot smaller scale than Minecraft. So, a Minecraft block is meant to be a meter by a meter, which is rough. It's actually, if you stand next to it, it's slightly less than that. But it's basically a meter by a meter. I would say Teardown's blocks are like 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters.
Sure.
So a lot smaller, which means you can get a lot more fine detail on them. It still looks blocky, but a lot more. A building looks more like a building, whereas a Minecraft building doesn't really, unless you sort of look at it from a distance, doesn't really look like a building.
Sure.
So it's sort of that sort of stage. But the basic premise is you are a demolition company, but you're quite happy to do a bit of work underhand. And so basically you start getting employed by people to basically commit heists, break into places, steal stuff and so forth. So your first mission is you're basically told to this guy hires you who wants to build a mall, and he said, "Oh, there's this building that needs to be go out of the way, but it has to be done overnight and has to be done by morning. So you need to go there and destroy it. And your first mission is just to destroy a building. And so you can get it's got drivable vehicles in it, so you can go there, you can get in drivable vehicles, and you can smash at the building with a crane and certain things you can't smash. So there's like anything that's made of brick or concrete you can't smash with your sledgehammer. You
Yeah.
can with explosives, but you can't do your sledgehammer. So those you can't break. But anything else you can sort of smash through and bits. You can't break metal with your sledgehammer. But you gain more tools as time goes on. So you basically smash the building down, and then it's revealed that actually that building was listed, and you shouldn't have, and you're basically in trouble. But it's okay, the police will let you off if you just do some stuff for them. And basically, you end up in a situation where there's three main characters. There's the police, there's the guy who initially hired you by the building up, and then like it's sort of his, not so much rival, but someone he has a rivalry with, even though they're not sort of the same businesses. They just don't like each other very much.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're basically, but then he hires you as well. So you end up in the situation with these three people all hiring you to do jobs, and they all basically come down to heists. You're stealing stuff. You're generally stealing stuff. In most of the missions involve stealing things. What makes it interesting is obviously the fact that pretty much everything is destructible. If you've got the time, you can destroy pretty much anything. You can level buildings, you can break things up, you can just do what you want. As you get through it, you unlock more tools. So you unlock a blowtorch, which you can cut through metal with. You unlock explosives. You've got like a rocket launcher. So you start off, you basically it's like a pipe bomb. You can then get like a sticky bomb mine, which you can stick onto buildings, which will obviously explode a bigger range. You get a rocket launcher later on, and you can upgrade it as well. You get the one called the plank, which is you can just spawn a plank wherever you want. You can like control how high it is, so you can build such a plank, which is bloody hard. But sort of your initial missions you'll go on, like so the first mission of each area is the area will have some degree of alarms, and you have to basically go, okay, so objective is okay, steal these three things, but for this first mission, if a fire gets out of control, it'll set the alarm off. So fires can be caused by you mainly setting stuff on fire with your blowtorch, or perhaps the explosive sets something on fire, and if it gets too big, an alarm will go off. And later on, though, all the things will be attached to alarm points. And when you break an alarm, you start a 60-second timer for the level to end. So you have all the time in the world to prepare, but once you steal that first item, you've got 60 seconds. And at some levels, you need to steal 4 or 5 things. And they'll be dotted all around the map. So you've got to prepare and plan a route of how you're going to basically make your way around the whole map to get everything you need done before that 60-second timer runs out. Which can be quite challenging. You can do certain things, like there was a level where I had to steal some cars. Well, a couple of cars were on boats. So I was able to find where the boats were tethered, break those by basically destroying the tethers with my pickaxe and getting the boat and drive it right next to where the car was going to be, so I could sort of line everything up ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was ready, save the game, and boom, off I went. Quickly race to get the car, and usually you get there with a few seconds to spare. The levels they get very challenging very quickly to get everything done in the time frame you have. And there is no way to bypass the alarms. Apparently on earlier builds on like the cars, you could cut the alarm off where it's attached to the car. You could like just cut the metal away and cut the alarm off. Apparently it doesn't work anymore. They fixed that. But there's no way. So you can't. There's no sort of, not say a smart way around it, but there's no way to complete level without anyone knowing you're there. You will set the alarm off, and apart from the sort of few exceptional certain levels, but in general, you will set the alarm off and you have to get it done.
Sure.
So you can spend all your time if you want smashing things up. You can smash away, patch you'll smash a wall. Perhaps you need to get safe on top of a building, so you'll smash all the walls down ready, so you can park a big tipper truck underneath, ready to catch it as soon as it comes down, so you can drive off. But you need to obviously then clear the rubble away and so forth. So it's probably about 20 minutes to half an hour of preparation time for that 1 minute run to get it right.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And you can do other things where there's a spray can as well, so you can like sort of spray markings on the ground to show your route and so forth. You can put sort of spray mark notes down. So you can do a lot of prepping plan with. And when you finish, what's quite neat is as you're sort of driving away, it will sort of show you your position when the alarm went off, and it shows you like this red line over the map of your route, so you can sort of see where you slowed down and where you lost time. So also the sort of key thing is to sort of go back and do it quicker. Now, to be honest, that mode I wasn't so keen. I didn't really enjoy that. I don't like have a ridiculous harsh time it thrown at me, but it's the way the game works. Fair enough. But once you've done a mission in one of those maps, you unlock it in sandbox mode.
I was going to say there wasn't no creative mode.
There is. I think that's how. I think
that's how it started, wasn't it?
Quite probably, yeah. And sandbox mode is fantastic fun. You just go into any map you want, and if you die, it doesn't matter. You just respawn, and you have all your tools. You have unlimited fuel for your tools. So normally you have like either ammunition or like your blowtorch has fuel for it. The only thing that is not limited is things like the sledgehammer, obviously. Your spray can is unlimited, just so you can do all your markings and stuff. But anything else uses a full source generally. So you can just do destruction. And I just love like going to like a building and just like setting it on fire and just watching as the fire sort of propagates through the building. It's just amazing. It's so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It's just watching it gradually burn. It takes a while. I mean, big builds will take a long time to burn. They'll take 5 to 10 minutes to burn down.
You didn't mention at the start, but it's a pretty hardcore physics-based voxel game.
Yes. It still has some of the Minecraft issues where, like, if you have one block can support an entire like country in Minecraft. This is the same. If your building has like one wall still up, it will stay up. So you have to dismantle all the walls before it will crash down.
Interesting.
And then it will crash down. Yeah, I mean you can do, and it's fairly clever. So you can do things like you can cut if you've got a security grid. You can cut with your blowtorch a hole in it, and then you can pull the bit out and throw it away. But it's not physics in the sense that it can do things like it's going to break here at this specific point, and it will do things like, for example, there was a tower I need to get knocked down, metal like sort of radio tower. So I cut basically on one side, I cut a big segment of the tower out, and the other side I didn't cut such a big segment out. And in my mind, it was going to tip over because there's nothing to support it.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was it did tip over enough until it was at an angle that it could be supported, and it stopped.
Oh.
So in reality, that would have kept going, but because it can't quite work out the weight of it and so forth. So it has the issues. But to be honest, computationally, that is quite, and you've got to make something that's quick enough that it can work as a game. We're not after. You can't have this. Something as common as this, you can't have full-on physics simulation to that detail because it would slow the game down way too much.
Mm.
Now you said about my PC earlier. Now my PC ran it okay. Most of the time it was fine. It struggled when there was lots of fire going. I got to slow down. Or in like, so my favourite thing so far has to been because this game came out it's an early access. It came out beginning end of last year. I think it came out midway through last year, and that was the initial version was part 1, which is about 20 missions. Part 2 was due out. Part 2 came out on Thursday.
Oh, there you go.
Just gone. So literally just released part 2, and one of the new unlocks for part 2 was nitroglycerin. So until this point, all your explosives have been timed, or you have no real control of when they go off. A bomb, when you throw it, will explode a few seconds later. The time mines are timed. Rockets also explode when they hit it. Nitroglycerin won't go off until you shoot it. So I've been going to one of the maps with the villagers, and I've been like going into a building, putting nitroglycerin bombs everywhere, all through the roofs and stuff. The sole goal to see if I can make this building disappear in one go.
Right.
And so, yeah, doing all this, taking one step outside, standing on the wall, aiming my pistol and shooting it. The PC goes for a few seconds while it works out the physics, and there's like sort of smoke appears and it's a bit juddery, but then after about sort of 5-10 seconds it figures it out and the building's gone. That is so satisfying.
Do you know what frame rates you're running at though?
I've not put a frame rate count on it. It feels, I say, unless I get really mad on the instruction, it feels pretty steady. It feels pretty fluid. I don't know. So it must be pushing. It must be getting around about the 60 mark. It doesn't feel any way juddery. But yeah, when I put a lot of explosives, if a lot of explosives have to go off at once, it basically slows to a crawl. And if there's a lot going on, so there's one mission where you have to destroy a building, and to get top marks, you have to destroy 90% of it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
And it's a big building. You haven't got, and this is in single player, so you haven't got limited ammunition and what have you. So, but you have frankly got tanks and missiles. So I basically threw everything I had at it, with throwing bombs, as much bombs as I could. It was all exploding, and it was. You could see the game was struggling to keep up to the point where it was slowing down, very noticeably. I reckon I was getting to the low tens or even single figure frame rates at that point.
Sure.
Because it was really struggling to calculate it. I mean, it did. But it didn't crash. Let me put it that way. It didn't like go. I have no idea what to do. And just completely crash. I tried. I mean, I've got Minecraft to crash on me. I couldn't get
That's
this
not
crash on
hard.
me. No, it isn't hard. That's what it's pretty solid. The code behind it's pretty darn solid. So I couldn't get it to crash. The game could cope. But actually, it's so fun. Frankly, the sandbox mode is the funnest part of it. The actual campaign mode, I just play just to get the maps unlocked. Really, so I go into sandbox mode. You've also got a challenge mode where you can have challenges in like sort of the sandbox mode, and you can which is like sort of collect a certain number of many things you can at a certain time and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is so fun. God, I know it would kill it, but God, it'd be so much fun if there's a multiplayer version of it.
Sure.
So fun. Oh, one other great thing is it's got a shotgun in it, which you can use to blow open doors, so you can like shoot like like they do in sort of like Rainbow Six, they shoot the door lock.
Yeah.
Break open. You can do that in this, and if you're correct side of the door fly open as you shoot it as well.
Beautiful.
It's lots of little things. Like, it's so fun. It's I feel proper fun mess around game. And yeah, I just love setting things on fire, and watching it burn. I do.
Fucking ram the pyro.
But it's so good when you set a building on fire and you just stand back and you watch as it propagates through the building, and as if it's like multiple floors, you can just see it gradually eating its way through the whole building. It's so good. It looks really good. I mean, like I say, it's a Voxel based, so everything's blocky. It doesn't. It looks good enough though. It doesn't. You can tell what things are. It works. Oh, it's so brilliant. You've got like this little base you have that you go back to between missions, and it's little neat things like as the game goes on, your guy starts and it's basically his demolition sort of company he owns his like warehouse, and his bed's like in the corner upstairs. And as the game goes on, he gradually improves it. So every time you sort of reload, it's all that every each mission, it gradually gets better and more built up. It's like he upgrades it as time goes on, so it gets a bit nice. It's like a car which he's restored, which gets like slightly further along every time.
Yeah.
It's just really cool. Oh, I mean, in the vehicles are all fully destructible. They have like I've worked at what they did was they have like a chassis that you can't destroy, and then all the voxels are built on top of the chassis. So you can drive around. You get machine gun parts of your vehicle will fly off from a gun, or you can cut parts of it away, or so forth. That chassis is what counts as the vehicle. And so there was one bit where I had to like sort of like put some vehicle in some water. And the easiest way I found to do it was to basically cut the entire everything off but the chassis, just pull the chassis into some water. And go that way.
Right.
It is so much fun. It's an absolute blast. I feel I've put about 10, 11 hours into it so far. Most of that has just been blasting around, just setting things on fire and blowing things up. I mean, honestly, it's so satisfying. Now they've added in the nitroglycerin. That's so satisfying to walk into like a two-story building with a roof access and going around like, well, I'm gonna place it all here and up here and up here. Stand back, bang, and it's just gone. Just the foundation is left on the ground where it was.
That's what people used to do in Minecraft back in the early days. Just used to, you dig into a mountain and fill it with TNT. And then you trigger it, and then just watch as the map disintegrates.
Yeah.
You know,
I did that. When we had our Minecraft server, you had that Minecraft server. At one point in the history of nuclear bombs, America made an island disappear. They miscalculated the strength of the bomb and they blew up the island and made it disappear. So I decided to recreate that in Minecraft. So I found an island and coded it in TNT and then sort of set it on fire. And then watched the island disappear. But Minecraft being Minecraft, what I actually did was just create this massive hole in the ground which the water then waterfalled into because it couldn't figure out to flood it.
good times.
It was good times, but oh yeah, honestly, I've definitely a recommended game. It is so fun.
I was going to get it, but I can't remember how much it costs.
It's not horrendous. Let me have a look. How much I paid for it?
Oh, we paid for it.
Did pay for it?
You better not say you got it on Humble fucking Bundle.
It's currently on offer, 15 quid.
Oh, fantastic! Until when?
Offer ends in 43 hours. Weekend deal.
Bastards.
Then it goes up to 18.49.
Okay, that's not bad. I swear it was more expensive than that.
It may have been. It may have been. Oh, that's new. It's got lasers in it now. That's new.
Lasers.
Lasers and robots that shoot you.
Yes, I've seen the robots.
That's the new thing they've added in. Oh, it's got like dynamic weather in it. So there's a version of weather you can play. Now, I've not tried this in the freeform mode. I've only tried it in single player. But there's like a thunderstorm. As you're walking around the heavy thunderstorm, it'll strike randomly the ground. It'll set fire to things.
Oh dear.
As it strikes, and because the alarm will sense when there's a big fire. So if the fire gets too out of hand, it'll set the alarm off. So you have to like sort of be firefighting as you go round.
Neat. Keep you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you one thing that I did discover, because when I was looking for if it was possible to disable the alarms, I had a quick look online, and I found someone that said how to disable the alarms in Teardown. Thinking is how you do it in game, but no, it is if you struggle with it and want a little bit more time with the alarm, you can. There's if you go into your game files in Steam apps.com, there's a file called heist.lua, and if you open that notepad, there's a variable called alarm timer, and you can change it to whatever you want. And so if you are struggling to, if you're at those struggles and just want a bit more time with the alarm, you can go there and change it and add a little bit more time. If you want to.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough.
But yeah, really fun game. I was not going to have as much fun with it as I did.
They're planning on adding in mod support, from what I've heard.
Oh, cool. That'd be cool.
From what I understand, the game is now pretty much done.
Yeah, they've released the whole campaign now.
The next part is mod support, and then it's just open to the community to do what they want.
So, I say part 2 of the campaign, which is the rest of the campaign, got released on Thursday. Because I was a bit shocked. I knew part 2 was coming out, and then I was playing it Thursday, finished sort of like first part campaign, and it's like, oh, part 2, now that's gone to part 2, so, oh, it must have unlocked today. There we go, not going to complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's now fully released. It's now on version 0.9, so it's nearly there. I think it'd be really... I think you need a pretty decent machine to run it, but I think it'd be hilarious in multiplayer if you could have you and a couple of mates go around completing heists together, or some sort of deathmatch where as you go around, the sort of map explodes and is destroyed as you go around, sort of Red Faction-y-esque.
Yeah.
And you can sort of take your way through things. That'd be fun.
I mean, I must admit, I am quite surprised actually that you're saying that your machine can run it at 60.
I mean, if it, like I said, I didn't have the time, so I don't know what the actual framework was. It felt okay though. It might not be. It just might be the way it was done. It felt okay.
So I was going to say, I know a chap. I know a chap with a PC that would completely destroy both yours and mine put together. Mine is considerably more powerful than yours,
Mm.
his machine gets crippled
Really?
by
I've
that
heard
game.
this. You see, I've heard a lot of people say that their machines get crippled by it, but I was like, apart from when you literally just explode an awful lot of things, I can't say I had any real bad situation. I mean, I said I did get to slow down.
With I mean,
But
though, with that said, though, you were streaming Cyberpunk at like sub 15 frames a second, and that was fine for you.
Well, it was fine on my machine. It wasn't running that slow.
It was fucking terrible when I was watching your stream.
Really?
That was a slideshow. You could see it.
Really?
Your Steam counter was terrible. You had a frame rate counter in the top corner. It was terrible.
It was not running that slow when I was playing.
I'm telling you, mate, that was terrible.
It was not. It was not pushing 60, but it's definitely in the 50s when I was playing.
No fucking way.
Yeah, honest to God, I'm not kidding you. Yeah, I'm not kidding you because when I've had run times and checked it, it's not that low. Must be the stream. Must be the coding going through.
No, I'm saying like
Honestly,
you had a frame rate counter up.
No, that's wrong. I'm sorry, that was wrong. It was not running at 15 frames per second.
That was terrible.
No,
There was no way
no
your
chance.
machine was capable of playing and streaming at that frame rate.
No,
I've seen that.
I will say the machine was probably strong to stream it, but playing it, it was not that low. I 100% guarantee you, it was not that low. 100%. I promise you. Because I wouldn't. It would be a nightmare to play. It was not running that slowly.
I mean, Cyberpunk is designed to be played at 30, so
It was not running that. Honest to God, it was not running that slowly. 100% honest to God. I don't care what that count when that count is wrong.
that's fair enough.
1%.
I mean,
So
I'm just going to
the
throw out
stream.
there.
I'm not surprised the stream was encoding at a terrible frame. I'm not surprised about it at all. But the actual playing of it on my end was fine. Absolutely fine. It was not that slow.
I will say though, you are less sensitive to frame rate issues
Yeah,
than
but not
I am.
15 frames per second. I will notice 15 frames per second. I'm sorry, I would. So it was not that low. Honest to God, 50 frames per second. Yeah, probably.
I'm actually. I'll be honest with you. I'm actually quite surprised that your machine could even run it at 50 frames a second.
It was must have been running around about that. I mean, I know when I had no stream going on, no recording going on, just an overlay counter on it. I was hitting around about the 60 mark. Honestly, when you start streaming, it dropped a little bit, but didn't get down that low. The stream I can understand being terrible. I can understand that being terrible on the output, but the actual, from my point of view, it was not that low. Guaranteed. So, but yeah, Teardown, great fun. Recommend it.
Sure.
Give it a go. So there'll be Steam Christmas sale is now about, so I'm sure it'll go down in price.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Cool. Well, that's it for me. For me.
That's it.
That's it. Well, thank you very much for joining us on our penultimate podcast.
That was quick.
Well, we did say we're going to make a quickish one. You can join us on our next podcast. That will be on YouTube, going up on the 18th, Saturday the 18th of December. That'll be our Christmas special, where we will also announce our game of the year. You can join us on that. We will be doing a stream on Tuesday, a game stream, which we're doing a sort of a little finishing off of a game we've already started, which you can catch us on, and that'll be being released in episodes over the course of Christmas, because we'll be taking a little wee break from streaming. Well, I'll be taking a break from streaming anyway. I'm sure Skazz won't. Over Christmas, taking a wee break. A games night anyway, and we'll be starting that back up in the new year. So, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and you can also, if you look out on probably Monday or Wednesday, me and Middlemeister are meeting up. We're doing a post-Doctor Who season 13 discussion, and that'll be released on YouTube's around about the Tuesday, or Monday or Wednesday.
Sure.
Depending how quickly I get it edited. So, thank you much for watching. Up in Suffolk Graham.
Check Ram out at twitch.tv/the Suffolk Ram.
That's the one, yes. And check Skazz out at twitch.tv/Skazzies. SK4ZZI0US.
Nailed it.
Got it. That's took me a whole year.
Fucking hell.
So, thank you for watching, guys.
We'll see you all, well, at some point. See ya.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.